Welcome back to Pop Culture Roll Call, the show where our hosts are watching The Magicians by only viewing the scenes that their character is present for. This is Season 1, Episode 2, The Source of Magic.
Welcome back to an episode of Pop Culture Roll Call. I'm your host Mike. I'll be watching everything with the point of view of Penny. To left me as always.
It's Tasha, and I'll watch everything from the point of view of Margot.
In front of me as always.
Yeah, it's Colin. Watch everything from the point of view of Quintin Nope. I watch everything from the point of view of Elliot as always.
And right here. Wait, what?
I'm still learning. Don't give me that look.
And right here, right now.
It's Brian. I watch as Quintin.
Are you trying to steal his identity?
Do James.
Hey, creep in the back. Wait. No.
Sad.
Sad.
Yep.
Couldn't make it.
Nope.
Pour one out.
No. He oddly said screw y'all and then slammed the door and left.
Deserved.
You can, I think this is a metaphorical pour one out.
But we're on video now, so the bits need to be real.
Listen, that means we have to buy a shotgun, and I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Or a
All right.
seatbelt. Buy one of those little airline little demonstrator.
What does our budget look like for
seatbelt?
demonstration seatbelts?
I think
You
we
have
can
to ask
afford
James
one.
about
You
that.
can take it out of your own pocket.
Yeah, doesn't all need to be on our dime, Mike. Tired of carrying you.
Thanks for everybody who watched the video version last week.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything looked good. We're as ugly as you imagine, but except for Stasia.
Hey, whoa now. Whoa now. Speak for oneself.
I am speaking for
Also,
myself.
good recovery for your wife,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the calculation and went, I do have to sleep at some point in this house.
But yeah, that's on YouTube. This one will be too, assuming things don't go horribly wrong.
Yeah,
You
seems
can
to be going fine so far.
You
Yeah.
can see our super nerdy house with all of our nerdy stuff in it. We got to swap out these posters.
Yeah,
Some of these are really
we're
old.
overdue for a nerdy refresh.
Yeah.
As long as nothing goes wrong and then just snaps to a bear walking in and mauling us to death.
A bear did break into our house once.
Would we still
Not this house.
post it?
Not
Not the Chicago house.
There's
That'd
no
be awesome.
bears in Chicago.
No, that would be a Chicago bear.
There are bears in
There
Chicago.
are lots of Chicago
There's
bears.
53 of them, and the leader of the team is Caleb Williams.
Yes.
That's true.
Would we still air the video if a bear broke in, we got kind of mauled, but nothing too bad?
It wouldn't be on the podcast feed, no, but we would upload it somewhere because
I don't know.
America's Funniest Home Videos is the best television has ever been.
I'm just saying, if we had audio and video of a bear breaking in and doing a minor mauling, that would do great YouTube numbers.
I'm really curious what a minor mauling
I think
is.
like a backhand.
A bear
just like a
backhand's
bear
one of those?
backhand.
I mean, that's
Bears
very...
famously use the back of their hands for things.
Well, this one's trying to change his ways.
Is this bear trying to not only hurt you but demasculate?
Yeah.
Is that what you're worried about?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bear's backhanding you
What a
onto the
man,
couch.
What a man concern.
Yeah. I'm just confused why Mike's getting backhanded by a bear.
well,
I've
He
never.
clearly said something.
It felt like there'd be.
guess.
I went backhanded because I feel like there'd be less claw.
Yeah.
I feel like this is claw. Like this, I'm getting mauled.
Yes.
This, I'm getting hit,
Yeah.
and then maybe the tail end of a claw, so a little bit of a scar. So
You've
it's not
thought
so much
about this, haven't you?
demasculating, but it's just less ripping.
I feel like you really are underestimating the strength of a bear.
No, I think I nailed it.
Yeah. Have you seen The Revenant?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he can survive, I can survive.
If
Well,
Leo can take
if
on a
Leo
bear,
can
I
take
can.
it, yeah.
This was a long time ago in internet time now, but wasn't there a thing about if men think they could take a bear or whatever?
Oh, that's a common thing. I mean, that even
100
goes down
men
to the 100
versus
men
bear.
versus a gorilla.
Oh,
Has
is
been
that
the
what it was?
recent
Was a
one.
gorilla? Okay, maybe
There's,
that's what I was
there's
thinking
no
of.
way, and you know why? Because at some point, it would be a competition between the men to see who could be the one responsible for taking the gorilla down.
Oh yeah,
and then the
fight
gorilla
each
just
other.
watches them destroy each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure how true any of it is, but I see it pop up in my algorithms every once in a while of somebody quoting the facts of 53% of men over 30 in the United States think they could kill an elephant in hand-to-hand combat.
The one that blows
and
my mind.
I don't know if that's real, but I do find it very funny to bring up.
The one that blows my mind is people who are like, "Oh, I could beat Serena Williams," or I could score a point on Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah,
It's
cannot.
if she double faults eventually, maybe.
I can't walk down the stairs fast, much less fight something.
yeah.
Anyway,
This is a show about the magicians.
it is.
Yeah, we need to bear down and talk about it.
Yeah.
Good one.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Is that what you said to the bear that got you backhand?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
speak bear. That might have been very insensitive, Mike.
sorry bears out there.
I start with credits.
Same.
I don't.
I pick up basically where we left off.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, sort of.
I mean, me and Brian are probably doing most of the heavy lifting here.
Okay.
We're gonna have equal amounts of time because I got a firm 9.
I have less than half of what I had last episode.
Okay.
So I'm not.
So you're at
drowning in it.
20-ish minutes.
Yeah.
I got about 9 minutes.
I'm still down in like the 6 category.
3.
3. So
Jeez.
there are. I mean,
There's something happening.
I was gonna say we know.
Why do you
this,
get a chair?
We know this about the show insofar as people have, again, no spoilers. Thank you all for being good. Like every time we bring up a new show, you all want to talk about it, but you're very good about understanding our format and what you can and can't say. So thank you, especially all the folks in Discord. You all are great. We haven't had to censor any of you, and I love that because I hate censoring people.
We put them in the spoiler chat where we're not allowed. And they get to have fun.
Exactly. But there does seem to be a general consensus that there are a lot of main characters, probably more than any of the other shows that we've done, that get a bunch of screen time.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, like, Julia has some time in this episode.
Yeah.
Because I call her on the payphone and it goes to voicemail.
And Julia is your old roommate,
Friends,
yeah, old
yeah.
friend.
old friend
yeah.
or whatever.
The one
it
that
is.
didn't
The one
get
who
in.
didn't get in, yes.
Gotcha. I'm gonna write that down in my list
I started
of running
bolding
names.
my names in my notes so I could find them quicker because I forget every name.
If you want to do what I do, I put just all the names in
I'm
a
not
in like a
following your
3-word
advice on the names because you
descriptions.
forgot your character's name at the beginning of this episode.
Julia.
He makes a point. Bear backhand.
All right, so we had a principal destroyed, a teacher
Yes,
murdered.
by Mothman.
You've
Yeah.
moved to Pinky.
Not the real Mothman.
No.
Correct. Butterfly Man, I suppose.
This is like the aftermath. So I'm on the floor of the classroom, kind of dazed, and like the magic CSI is here basically, and they're like taking samples and questioning everybody and doing like detective work effectively. I'm like, hey, what happened? Describe the beast that attacked you, and it's intercutting with like flashbacks to the attack, and then so the flashbacks are what we saw, and then they eventually catch up to what we saw and start going a little further forward. But they're asking like, how did it get in here? What did it say to you? How did it know your name? I don't answer really any of these questions.
And I'm watching you being questioned.
Yeah.
Are they saying it? You said it. Are
they
they
keep
saying
on
it?
saying it. They call it the beast a couple
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't really have a name for it or anything.
Got it.
And then we get credits.
And then we get the credits.
But it picks up right here again.
Then we get the credits.
Abracadabra.
Ta-da.
Magic.
Ah,
I like that.
abracadabra, ta-da, magic. We all have our own little word.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
gotta think of
What for
something.
next
No,
week?
because
we'll
I
think of-
cast using subtle spell with my sorcerer
Oh.
points.
Ah,
God.
no somatic components.
Or
we love it. Or no
Maybe we
verbal
should do
components.
like a little. I forgot to open my Coke, so I wanted to do it now.
You
Felt
just,
like a
you
good
just want a reason
opportunity.
to drink a Coke Zero every week, not
yes,
a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
They didn't pay me.
Yeah,
but
they're
I,
not magic enough.
I
No.
need caffeine.
Wow, totally lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, I saw you processing. Is it even your turn to talk? Or did you just kind of want to have
I
something
got
to say?
9 minutes, bro.
I'm
I
letting
got a
them tell
whole
me
9,
when.
not 10. I'm not a double-digit guy.
Elliot and Quintin are in every scene together, so you let me know when we're interacting.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
my deal for this episode.
For me, it picks up right, like, after credits, we're back in the classroom. Same magic CSI is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, some of the flashbacks are, like, body on the floor that I think is the dean, but I'm not 100% sure. And it's, like, pulling, like, a pocket watch out of their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I
think it was the dean.
I think it was the dean, but I'm not 100% sure. And
well,
it could have been the teacher.
so I have a part because I'm also being questioned separately, and I get a flashback to the beast rubbing his hand against Quentin's face, saying, "Let's nip this in the bud."
Let's do rubbing its hand against Quentin's face.
yeah.
They're saying it and the beast.
I said the beast.
I know, but you said his face. His hand against Quentin's face.
Oh, sorry.
It's all
the
good.
beast's hand
Yep.
against Quentin's face.
Yep.
And then I'm telling whoever Magic CSI lady is questioning us that the dean had something in his hand, and I have no idea where it went after that. And then I get a flashback of what happened, which is the dean, like, pulling I'm assuming it's the dean. It has to be the dean.
Yeah.
Pulling out the stopwatch from, like, a pocket.
Uh-huh.
And I think he says, "Take this."
Yes. He says, Quintin, take this.
Yes.
And then the pocket watch, stopwatch, whatever it is, like, appears in my hand.
Wait, when did this happen?
This was
After
when
the
when
eyes?
Mothman is there.
But
like after he's bleeding out on the floor out of his eye holes.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then I hit the button on the pocket watch, and like that's when time basically, because everybody had been frozen, remember? Like
Yeah.
they could only move
Yeah.
their eyes around. That's when everybody can like finally move, is once I hit that button.
We were red light,
And-
now we're green light.
And meanwhile, like in the present day, the CSI person, or I think she's like the vice dean or something like that.
That sounds right.
She's some sort of like,
Sunderland?
I don't remember her
I think
name.
it's Sunderland.
But she's asking me all these questions. She's like, how long have you been able to like materialize objects? And I'm like, well, I've been doing magic tricks all my life. Maybe some of these cards came back or whatever. Like I don't really have an explanation for it. But like now all hell breaks loose back in the past with Mothman, and like, we see somebody like does a hand, tutting.
Yeah.
And
Katie comes in. So this is the girl that I've been hanging out with. She comes in. She does like a tut blast.
Right.
And blasts him back
Like a force push.
like a force push.
Yep.
Sure.
Alice does some other spell and basically forces him back into the mirror.
Yes, and I throw a chair at the mirror, shattering it.
Right.
So magic, chair at mirror.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I
intelligence.
cast-
though.
That's
Hold on,
intelligence.
hold on.
I'm not-
Hold on. I cast shatter.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
With chair.
Yeah.
I
I'm
asked
gonna
like
say that
is-
every time I throw a chair. I cast shatter, throw chair.
Hey, every spell,
a
just be-
mirror store. I cast shatter, baseball bat.
Just because most D&D players are lazy and don't play with time, don't play with spell components, and don't play with equip load, doesn't mean that this couch is lazy.
I
When we
feel-
cast shatter, we throw a chair.
Hot take. I'm sorry. Hot take coming in.
That's not a hot take.
It's not. Nobody does. Nobody
Okay.
likes those things.
If
You're
you
not
are,
hot
if
take.
you are a DM out there, and you are asking your players about mundane spell components, stop. That's not the game nobody wants to play.
That's what you think. There are
I-
lots of people
I
out there
agree
that
and
play a lot of
disagree.
different
Yeah,
games.
I disagree. 'Cause they're there for flavor.
I would say I disagree, and we don't need to listen to a D&D podcast. I disagree outside of spells that have long-standing repercussions.
I
Like
think-
they need to find a diamond, and
Yes.
that's a fun
Yes.
Anything with a
mini-quest
material
for
cost.
Revivify
Any
kind of
like
deal.
revivify, yes.
Right.
But like, I'm not like if you're doing what's something stupid.
I
Oh,
know.
it's when you do like the
Sand,
the sand,
for
and then you
for
throw
Yeah,
sand.
thaumaturgy. Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
no, I don't care.
Well,
but like diamonds, yeah.
But half the time
I
they're
mean,
jokes.
so it's two things, right? One is, yes, if there's a material cost that's listed. Two is sometimes they're funny because like the alarm spell, the components are a small bell and a piece of string,
Which is funny.
which
right?
is hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have
Anyway.
to make people RP with the items, which is its own fun. Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
does the bell? What does it do?
You don't have to, but it's there if you
I
want
feel
it.
like also, no offense, you're pretty new, and I think for
Wow. That felt like
D&D,
offense.
Shaming.
Oh, she's getting TPK
She-
solely.
She just bareback.
yeah, yeah.
You're so new that you don't understand that you can't kill one person in its TPK.
Total person kill. Yeah.
Total player kill.
we're
Total
just,
Actually,
we're
player
just
kill.
changing. We're
Yeah.
just changing.
Yeah, someone walks in, does 5 times your normal amount of damage, insta-dead, and diamonds don't exist anymore.
He forgot that I have like a feat that basically means that when I die, I just don't.
yeah. Barbarian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that one.
Anyways, I ask if the dean's dead and do not get an answer,
No.
which is
Well, the fact that he
Suspicious.
still pulled out a watch,
Yeah.
I don't think he's gone.
Yeah.
I think he's like,
I think we're like presuming him
ICU'd.
dead until he has a big reveal.
yeah,
like,
he's ICU'd up somewhere.
ICU'd.
yeah.
I do go to the infirmary and he's not there.
well,
but-
he wouldn't be in the common one for the students.
I don't
He
know. They
didn't
did
clock
some
it.
crazy shit in there. So, anyways, they don't have any real answers about like the nature of the beast. All they know is it's powerful and angry, and anybody who's responsible for bringing it here is going to get expelled.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, whoops.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even clock that's what happened last week.
So,
This makes way more sense because you all
My-
did the spell.
my running theory is that Mothman is her brother.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's
Her-
why they don't
wait, which
say
her?
Alice?
Alice.
Oh, yeah.
the really smart girl
Because
that
we were
they
trying to
wouldn't talk,
summon her dead brother.
Right.
and they won't tell her what happened to her brother.
Oh no.
He became Mothman.
Clearly. Okay.
We need to get Kyle and Niall in here to talk about Mothman.
I love talking about Mothman.
I wish it was like Mothman and not a bunch Mothsman.
Mothsman.
Man, you know what? I nostalgic for those kinds of conspiracies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
If
a
you go-
good old dumb one.
Yeah,
good old-
if you go back like 4 or 5 years in the It Gets Weird feed, I was on their first Mothman episode. We talked about him kissing.
I love how they have more than one Mothman.
Oh,
episode.
for sure. Are you kidding? They've been like a decade of content.
I've been on one too. We talked about sleep paralysis, and the man in the hat.
Oh, the Curious George guy?
Yeah, the man in the yellow hat
Yeah.
sitting on your chest while you can't breathe.
I think I'd watch that movie.
Usually the hat guy is in the doorway.
Yeah.
And it's the
Usually
monkey that's on your chest.
It's the monster, that demon.
Yeah,
or whatever.
mine was
Yeah.
like a pantherish creature whenever I had it on my chest.
I always have the guy in the doorway.
Y'all have
Yeah.
cool ones.
Ever since I found out that if you sleep on your back, you're more likely to get sleep paralysis, I have never slept on my back. Ever.
Oh, yeah?
I know. I told
Never.
him because that is
Oh,
part
I
of
duck
it.
take my body sideways or down.
He just, it's fine. I distinctly remember the moment when I like got scared, saw the guy, and then I was like, oh, I know
Oh,
what this is.
yeah, I
and
get
then I
this
went
one.
to sleep. I just went
Nah.
back to bed.
No, last thing I'm gonna have oh, there's a person, heart attack.
This is the benefit of not believing in ghosts.
Yeah.
Listen, I grew up too Catholic to not be ghost coded.
Anyway,
Mothman,
really the end of
baby
that scene.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cops
Okay,
are here.
I
My next
love
scene
this
is like
theory.
walking outside and I'm talking to Alice, talking about like, hey, we did that spell. And she's like, shut the hell up.
Well, I mean,
Correct.
Yeah.
Fucking narc.
We wait a week before we mention it, minimum.
But yeah,
Also, you don't know.
Mention what?
That's
Yeah,
like
you
you,
don't
didn't
know.
intentionally try to summon him.
Homie.
I still have more than y'all, so I don't know how we want to run this one.
Like I said, I'm just here whenever
I
you're
pick you guys up.
So
like,
my next scene, Elliot comes up.
Okay. And this is with
So like Alice, me and Alice are basically like, we're not gonna admit that we did this, so we don't get expelled. And then you come up.
and you all come over to the house, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, when we were like, oh my gosh, you didn't say that you were dangerous. That was like, I just came in and I picked you guys up from the front of the stairs and,
And
then we
super
like
quick.
take you.
And then we
Yeah.
immediately go back to the like fraternity house or whatever. Like
Yeah, it's like some
the
cottage with
physical kids cottage. So
But it's-
these
okay.
this is the kids that like can manipulate telekinesis kids.
right. So they separate rather than like dorms in traditional sense. They all like it seems like every specialty has its own living situation.
Yeah, it's
But
Harry
me
Potter.
and
Right.
Quintin and Penny were sharing a dorm, and I'm some sort of illusion telekinesis, like whatever,
Maybe you
and
haven't been
you're a
placed.
diviner, aren't you?
Are you guys even placed yet?
Yeah.
You just took the test, right?
We had a
Oh, I
shared
guess you guys
dorm
had
room.
some time. Maybe a freshman is different. Maybe
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
declare.
Yeah, maybe it's like second years whenever you stay off campus
Yeah.
kind of deal. I mean, it's collegiately right. But I mean, again, you're also grad school, so I'm not sure how that's different. And this is also a TV show, so who knows?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that Elliot makes a Harry Potter reference as we enter this
Yeah,
room.
there's a bunch of like people hanging out in the room, and I recognize the fact. I think Elliot recognizes the fact that I need to talk to Quentin about what the fuck happened, and I'm not going to talk around a bunch of people who aren't involved. So I immediately go and I'm like, "Welcome to the, the what do you call it, the physical alteration house or whatever cottage," and I'm like, "Psst, Avada Kedavra." And there's like 4 kids sitting on the couch that just kind of like shake their heads like, God damn it, Elliot. And then I get up and kind of walk away. I'm like, shoo, shoo, shoo. So yeah, they're like Harry Potter canonically exists in the world of the magicians, which is its own kind of little interesting
Yeah.
Yeah.
tidbit. But
And
that's
this is when I take Alice
Margot
away,
takes
right?
Alice away.
Yeah, and
right.
I tell her I'm gonna give her something to change into that doesn't hide the asset she's hiding under that pilgrim smock.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes!
Yeah,
I was giving her a cute dress.
That's
I
not
know.
problematic.
Yeah.
I actually
saying she has a
not.
great chest, here's a dress.
Yeah, here's a dress that's actually good for your body type.
I think the word assets really threw me off in that.
we had this conversation. Sometimes when it's coming from a woman, it just is
It's
different.
different.
Yeah,
It
if you
is.
said it'd be
Different.
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's be different if a man goes up and says you need to wear something that reveals your assets.
Yeah.
Then that's like that's obviously not okay.
The
but-
most I can say is there is a woman in the room.
yeah.
This is the thing. Mike has
safe.
really struggled. Being like, I'm just like, I can just say stuff. You can't say it, but I can.
And listen, this is the exchange because I get 25 more cents per the dollar. Okay?
This is
It's
what
all
this is the
even.
trade-off. This is the trade-off.
It's totally fair.
So you take her upstairs to go get into a dress or get something more like
Yes.
something else on. It
Yeah.
feels like you're trying to
Careful,
And
reset.
talk probably too.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do have
I'm
a little
assuming you have a little
aside.
bit of
Yeah.
But yeah, I welcome you both, or welcome our guests in, and I offer them some famous cocktail I don't get the ingredients for, and that's when you head out. And then our next scene, we're chatting outside. So I'm assuming the gals upstairs have their discussion first.
Yeah, I mean, we're just drinking wine out of the bottle on the bed
Okay.
and talking. And it's like some really basic stuff. I'm like, do you know what it was? And like she says no, and I'm like, well, you must be familiar with this kinds of crazy because your family. Interesting. Further
so
evidence.
everyone kind of knows her family's story. It seems like a little.
There's something
of it,
going on with their family, and like they're expected to be a little. Oh my god, the moth guy absolutely is her brother. Oh my god, you're totally right. Because basically we go into. Because she says her family, and she's like, and then Margot says, don't. I'm like, mine too, basically. Like, my family is also pointless and toxic. So I'm trying to like create, like, I was asking her a little bit about her family, but then being like, you don't have to explain that your family sucks because my family also sucks.
My brother's made out of bees.
And
I got a bee brother.
This is when Alice tells me that, like, I didn't learn magic, and like I didn't learn that at home. It wasn't taught.
Yeah,
it wasn't
she referenced
prepped.
that last episode as well. Everybody
Yeah.
assumes that she like had a leg up on everybody, and she just worked hard.
And this is when Margot says, like, she's like, yeah, I know that you weren't taken in for the exam, but you found your own way here. How did you do that? So basically, Alice, her family did not bring her to the school to learn magic. They also did not teach her magic.
That also makes it sound
At
like
home.
the school didn't seek her out like they sought me out.
Or her parents intercepted the letter.
Yeah.
If she's living at home.
They knew what happened to her brother.
I assume that her brother is the moth guy, is very dangerous or whatever, and they were like, "You're not learning magic. Magic is
We
clearly
saw this
a
go wrong.
problem. We don't want to lose our other child,
Magic
so we're just
destroyed
not
our
going to.
family.
Yeah,
but
we're
then
just
she
not gonna
wants
do
to be
it.
involved in magic to try and connect to her brother or find out what
Because
happened.
they don't tell her
because
anything.
they don't tell her.
You
anything.
listen, if your kid
She's
becomes,
not a kid. She's
No,
in
no,
grad
yeah.
school.
No.
That's
If
like
your
way
kid-
worse.
If your kid becomes a dangerous Mothman and there's a sibling,
Moths, man. Multiple moths.
Moths person.
Mothies,
Still don't know.
a mother.
Well, if we're
You
assuming it's her
gotta
brother,
tell
Yeah,
their
we're
sibling.
assuming it's her
You
brother.
gotta tell the sibling.
Yeah, right.
you gotta explain.
Yeah.
Because anyway, and then she says, well, it wasn't hard, and then I'm like, we live in the Bermuda Triangle of upstate New York.
What?
Like,
Okay.
there are apparently wards around the school
Yeah.
that like
Like ley lines and shit or whatever. it is.
legitimately there are wards, and she says, well, my parents had keys, like, because when you graduate you get keys to access the school so you can visit whenever. And I'm like, yeah, and those keys are supposed to have this enchantment on them that make them unstealable. She doesn't say some enchantment, she like names some guy's name, and I'm like, I don't care. And she says, well, I stole one.
So we get the
So-
sense from Alice, just so I'm following. So Alice's parents were magicians who graduated from the school and had keys.
Yes.
Alice's brother came to the school
And disappeared.
as part of the third year grade.
And nobody's told
And nobody's
any of them
told her.
why.
Alice was not.
I don't know if he was third year or not. I am not. Maybe that was last episode.
But something happened.
Sorry, he is not.
He's not part of that class.
He's not part of that third year class because they say it was 5 years ago.
Okay,
Okay,
fair enough.
So he's just disappeared
Right.
separately.
But then Alice made her way here against the wishes of her parents,
Correct.
and the school did not.
I wonder if
test
they
her
know.
organically.
Well, yeah, the school did accept her,
Right.
because
Oh,
she's
for sure.
here. So so it seems more like she didn't get the instructions from her parents to come.
I don't think that's relevant. I think that's unrelated because the timeline would be that like her parents never taught her magic growing up, but you got to
Oh,
assume
you're
she's like
right.
20 plus. So like even from the ages of like 0 to 15, they never taught her anything.
You're right.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's related to the brother incident. I think it's a separate thing with her parents.
That makes sense.
It actually makes way more sense.
Yeah, because she's got to be in her. If this is grad school, she's got to
Yeah.
be in her late 20s.
right.
Yeah.
Mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Depending on what this world works with. Grad school. I don't know.
Anyway, she says that
Anyway.
she stole one because she wanted to go to school.
Okay.
Yeah, but she keeps on referencing that like most of the reason why she's here is to figure out what happened to her brother.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then she says, well, why do you care? And I say, I'm curious. I don't know. I want to be your friend, I guess. And she like turns to me and she's just like, I don't feel like you do. And then Margot kind of has a face that's like shocked and is like hurt a little bit. And then that's when Alice like gives me the wine bottle and says, sorry, I should go. And that's the end of the scene. But I spent a lot of time thinking and rewatching that just to see if like I felt like Margot was being truthful. I think she was. And that maybe Alice leaves because she's embarrassed because maybe she like overcorrected.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, she's probably pretty stressed out, especially if we don't know, she might even suspect that the beast is related to her brother too. So like she could just be dealing with a lot, and
Totally
she just like
possible.
snapping because she wants to go think.
It was more of just like, I don't know,
Just
maybe she just doesn't think that people like her, which
Yeah.
would maybe explain some other things. I don't know, with her family. I don't know.
Interesting. Do you want to jump downstairs and do Quintin and
Yeah.
Elliot's?
Yeah, we're outside.
Yep.
Hanging out. You're smoking, I think.
I'm smoking a cigarette.
Yep.
We're just like, we're chatting. And like always, Elliot is laid back, is very attentive. I'm like listening to everything that you say, and I am reacting and giving my like thoughts and opinions. Quintin is a rat in a cage, though. You're like standing up, walking around, pacing. You've got like an energy. You want to like do something, and Elliot, I think, is trying to get you to calm down a tick.
Yeah, for sure. And I admit to you that we cast the spell,
Yeah.
in case you hadn't pieced that together already. And I don't know. I'm talking about like how I can't get expelled because I can't go back to the, where I came from. Kind of another implication here that I was suicidal before.
Yeah.
And like you try to like open up and relate, I guess.
Yeah, well, I tell you I tell you a couple things. I start off by kind of chiding you for summoning the monster. That was a stupid idea. That'll get you kicked out of school kind of deal. But you start again kind of like waffling on like you summoned a monster that like assaulted the dean, and I'm like, you know what? Something bad happens every couple years. That's kind of par for the course with the magical school. Like the third year's thing, like that's not the only instance of terrible things happening because people came around and messed with magic.
Yeah.
That's not
something
super
else
weird.
5 years ago that we're not going to get into.
There's something else a
Yeah.
couple years ago. And Quintin asks, you ask Elliot, can you help me live with myself? And Elliot kind of like takes a beat. And this is after he's admitted that he was in the hospital for like potential self-harm. And Elliot is starting to, I think, realizes he's starting to lose the battle with trying to like welcome Quintin in and calm him down a little bit. Like it's starting to heighten to a level that he can't quite like communicate on. So Elliot kind of like takes a big drag on a cigarette and goes like, all right, fine. I'm going to tell you something deep and dark and personal now. Ready? Good. I killed someone. And Quintin immediately, again, like the tone shift, like Elliot realized he needed to like meet on a level that was self-harm. And he's like, I killed a person. And Quintin stops and kind of looks at Elliot, and I just kind of go into this little bit of a story. And again, I'm talking fast. Elliot, I don't think anticipated bringing this up. I don't think it's a thing he talks about frequently, but it felt right in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of rambling. I'm like, yeah, I was 14 and he beat me up, and I was walking down the street and I was eating a candy bar and I saw him crossing and there was this bus and I barely thought the thought. And then my nose started bleeding and he died on impact. Like that was when I
So one of
learned I
those,
was
like,
magic.
Yeah, so like didn't
Very
intend-
X-Men
Yeah,
style.
very like
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something that in a normal world would be impossible.
Yeah, I hope that guy gets hit by a bus for beating me up, and then he gets hit by a bus and dies. And that's
Okay.
He was killed instantly, and he's like, he died, and all I did was ruin my favorite button up. But that's when I learned that I was magic. And Quintin like takes a beat, but then I think you still want this to be a little bit about yourself. You're like, don't tell me. He's like, don't tell me it gets better. I'm like, no, what I'm telling you, like, you're getting the wrong lesson from this. I'm not telling you this gets better. What I'm telling you is that magic does not come from happiness. Magic comes from pain. Everyone here has a similar story. Magicians don't exist without trauma, I think, is basically, and I'm not sure how true that is holistically, but based on the conversations we're all having about our like magical history and what magic means to us, seems to be kind of true in some way. So yeah.
Oof. I got a little scene that I think takes place after we're told like if I find anyone that who did this, I'm gonna expel y'all. Because I'm leaving the building and Katie is following me, and she's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm leaving. Like, I'm out of here." And she's like, "I don't know you that well, but I know you don't scare that easy." And I'm like, "Here's the truth. Hearing people's thoughts are the least of my problems. Couple of lines, right mix of meds, handle that fine." So right from the get-go, like, okay, he's doing, I'm assuming, cocaine and meds to
quiet the
the
voices.
things he's hearing. And with that, she's like, "You heard Quentin and Alice in the lab. That's why we went there." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. There is a voice. Usually everybody comes with a lot of static, but this voice came in clear as a fucking bell. I know that this voice was a magician, and that's all I know about him.
Mothman.
That and
Mothman.
everything that he taught me is real, and it works.
Oh, so he's teaching you.
Or he had taught me. So whatever this voice, I don't know if it's hard because he talks about it in the past.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell if this moth person is the voice he's always heard,
Yeah.
or if this is the voice that told him go there.
This has happened, not to keep on, I mean, we always fall back on D&D, but it has like warlock vibes. Like you've like
Yeah.
heard this voice that's instructing you in your past, and it leads you to your like magical sort of like blossoming kind of deal, but comes with a cost.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her response is like, "Holy shit!" Like she
Yeah.
didn't know all this, and I'm like, "Yeah, my life wasn't exactly nonstop fun growing up. That's why I love that voice. It saved my ass a bunch of times. Like he was basically my only friend." And
Sorry, that's not Mothman then.
no. So here's where we get the clarification. He was my only friend right up until he sent me into the lab to help, and then that thing walked through the mirror. So she asked that question: "Were you? So was it the beast you were hearing?" I'm like, "I got duped." So I think, kind of thinking back on this, I think the beast, aka Mothman, like impersonated or hijacked the voice I normally hear, told me go into that room to help.
Interesting.
So if that is the case where this person knew well enough how to get me in that room, this is a very dangerous.
Right. That's
Yeah.
like crazy. Like, how would you know
Yeah.
that?
I mean, obviously powerful magic, right? It was able, like the dean is a
Yeah, that's
powerful
true.
magician,
Yeah.
and his eyes got plucked out. So
Yeah. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm like, there's no point now in trying to explain this to Sutherland. I'm out. I'm done." She's like, "It's not your fault. He tricked you. Like, don't be stupid and leave the only place that has experts to help with this. Like, you can't go anywhere else for help with what's going on." And I'm like, "Why do you care?"
So much. Why do you care?
Yep. And she's like, "I did the spell too. If you're guilty, I'm guilty." I'm like, "You're guilty." And she's like, "Fine, let's go jump off a bridge." I'm like, "Katie, I can't stand it." And she's like, "Okay, go. But since you're out anyway, do something stupid with me before you go." And I smile and I follow her.
Okay. About to go do something stupid. Hopefully fun.
Yeah.
My next scene, I'm in a coffee shop reading the Fillory, one of those little kids books.
You're reading that one of the books, not the loose pages. From
Correct.
Book 6?
I lost those pages. I don't have those anymore.
Oh, I thought you just lost that one page.
That's what I thought
when you ran
too.
through.
Later today, I get confirmation that I lost it.
Oh, well, bummer.
But I'm reading it, and then I run. Alice finds me in the coffee shop, and talking about how we summoned a killer Mothman from another world.
Stop talking about this stuff in public.
Yeah.
It's an active investigation.
It's a pretty quiet
That's
coffee
fair.
shop,
Okay.
but
It's worse.
That's worse.
It's actually worse.
And we're wearing sunglasses with Groucho Marx noses.
I had a bullhorn I was whispering through.
Alice seems like, obviously she's like the smart Hermione Granger-esque, kid. I feel like she's wrong about her theory here that her brother's spirit sent me to contact her brother, sent Quintin to like she thinks her brother's spirit is like doing all this stuff.
This girl gonna get us all killed.
And I'm like, I'm dismissive because I'm like, well, and I start telling her about like the dreams I'm having, and I'm like, well, Fillory is probably real, and like that symbol on my hand was from Jane. She's like, I don't know what the hell, like she knows of the books, but she's not like a fan of them, and kind of dismisses them as like kids novels. And I'm like, no, they're like, what if it's real? And she's like, there are other worlds out here, which I think will be key at some point.
Yep.
Interesting.
But this is a work of fiction. And so I start going into, apparently the backstory of these books is that they are based on the neighbors of the author. So like the author wrote these books based on the kids who live next door to him. Right? So now we're like, okay, are these nonfiction books? It's kind of starting to plant that seed, right? And I'm like, is there somewhere we can watch a video? So it cuts to us in, as far as I can tell, a room full of wind chimes.
Okay.
I don't know why this is the only place there is a computer on campus, but so we're in this wind chime room looking at this
Hey,
old video documentary.
Y'all laugh, but I feel like a room full of wind chimes in a school of magic is one of the most dangerous rooms out there.
Here's my thing about wind chimes. Putting them inside kind of defeats the purpose.
Yep. I also like.
Why would you have a room inside full of wind chimes?
I also like that we got to the point. Here's the thing about wind chimes.
Here's the thing about it. This is my old age. This is the kind of things that get me all bothered.
So this is my guess. This is them getting around the cell phone problem. So instead of somebody being like, oh, and then take out my phone and pull up
Right.
the documentary on my phone, I'm like, is there somewhere we can go to watch a video? And we have to go to this wind chime room to pull up this GeoCities ass website with like its own bespoke media player on it where we watch this documentary. Later, I use a payphone, right? So I don't think there are cell phones.
Yeah,
That,
that,
or
Did they
like,
just
the
wrote
cell
it-
phones don't work on campus.
Oh,
That makes sense.
I wonder if we see. I'm going to be clocking every time we go off campus if like pedestrians are on cell phones. If it is one of those like you said, there's this like ley line. There is this sort of like thing that is magically
we know we
an
have
aura.
wards.
Right?
that
Awards,
cover
that kind
it.
of.
You're
deal.
not getting that Verizon nationwide coverage.
Is there something to keep people from like live streaming?
Are there
magic,
techno
basically?
wizards?
Yeah. Any techno pagans floating around there? Any Miss Calendars?
I didn't. When they named all the houses, I don't think they named techno
Yeah,
pagan.
not here
No.
because this is like what's the word for people who hate technology?
A Luddite.
Luddite campus. These guys are not with the times.
That kind of sounds like a Pokemon.
Luddite?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like a Pokemon.
Right.
But so we're watching this video where this dude named Dev Fleischman is being interviewed, and it's kind of like talking about the books, and what this guy wrote a book about the books, I guess. So he's like an expert on them.
Wild. I know, but just saying it that way, he wrote a book on the books. I'm like,
Yeah,
Fair
fair
all
enough.
the books wrote my own.
yeah.
But it goes into how like Martin Chatwin disappeared, Jane Chatwin disappeared a year later. Like nobody
Stop writing
ever
them books.
found them. So it's like, okay, they disappeared into the world of Fillory or whatever it is, obviously. In the scene, I do want to point out, I have the most Jeff Goldblum energy I have ever seen outside of Jeff Goldblum. like it's just the constant like, you know, stuttering and like being all over the place with all these like facts and things and whatever.
Interesting, because I didn't get Jeff Goldblum energy from you any other time, but maybe whenever you're like
There was a little bit of
hyper-focused-
that, like at the start when I'm like pacing around
Yeah, it's
outside.
true.
It's diving in there, but I'm not like reciting things that I know.
right? But this is your niche. This is like what you've spent all of your time on. So whenever this
What
is
you're
your thing,
writing your dissertation on.
You're trying to bring somebody in with information, which is kind of the core Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park deal.
100%.
Yeah. Okay,
So
that makes
great.
sense.
And you know, the scene doesn't go that far with the whole documentary thing, other than like, what if it's real? And then we kind of resolve to hide the book that she was casting the spell out of with the symbol on it that was on my hand.
Yeah. Right.
So hide that book, and we need to get our story straight.
1, burn the book. 2,
Don't
We
burn,
don't burn
books.
the books.
Stop.
We hide it poorly.
and then
books.
2. This is the second show with a dangerous book with a hand on it that we've done.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
The book doesn't have a hand
You
on
gotta
it.
stop.
He's got the mark on his
Mark
hand.
of
That's
the
not on
hand.
the book.
It's hand by proxy.
Where did we get this book again?
She
just had it.
it was in the dean's office.
Scholastic.
Oh, it was in the
So they
Scholastic
took
Book
it
Fair.
from the library, I
Right.
believe. I
yeah,
think
the dean
I think,
took it from the library.
but I think the dean took it from the library like 3 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
never
put that back.
returned
You
it.
gotta
put
and
that back.
Snagged it. Okay. I'm
So,
trying to keep all these.
Yeah,
little
I'm
plot
not 100%
things.
sure on that, but yes.
Cool.
And that's the end of that scene for me.
I got, I think, 2 more scenes. I got 1 quick scene, and then my next scene, I run into people.
Yep.
All right.
So just
Do
go
your
for
quick
it.
scene.
Okay.
Hit it.
This one's a really quick scene where we go into like a common room of just some building or a dorm. Just a bunch of kids are hanging out.
College campus.
Yeah. And she goes into this like drawer cabinet thing, And the minute we open it, we see all these old phones. And it's not just phones; it's like a stapler, just a random like old tech. And
Wait, I'm sorry.
It's like
You
old,
said a stapler?
there was a stapler. There was some like Nokia old school phones.
You can't say old tech and then be like staplers don't work on campus.
Is that not
either.
old technology?
It's not electronic.
But it's old tech.
It is actually technically older than a Nokia.
So is the drawer itself.
Well,
Yeah.
this was the new stapler that has the 4G, not the 5G. She lifts up, and there's like a hidden drawer underneath, and she grabs a couple things. The only thing I can kind of see that I think is important is there's like a crystal on a chain.
Yep.
And then a book. Is this the same?
Does it have like a round symbol with some like runes or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is this okay? And then we head out. I grab a beer on the way out.
Out of the Nokia cabinet?
No, just from sitting
Okay.
around.
I was gonna say that is old. Beer is old technology too.
There was a Nokia, there was a stapler, and there was a beer.
There's a beer.
Old
This
tech.
sounds like a joke that my dad told me I was 4.
Should I just keep going?
I don't know.
My next scene's with you.
Okay. We're walking outside. I'm drinking my beer. And I'm like, what is that necklace thing? It looks bunk. And I'm like, the alloy is rusting. It looks like no good. And she goes, no, it's good. It's Emerson alloy. And I'm like, how do you know? And she's like, she knows things. She talks about this place like being a gold mine. And
Is Katie evil? I'm confused.
I think she just knows a lot. I think
That's-
she's craftier than she appears.
Mm.
Is she evil? She wants me to stay. She gives me something that protects me, but that could. Ooh, she could be evil.
Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't mean to
no.
like.
Wait, your first day on campus, and you automatically got in bed with the devil while a voice talks in the back of your head?
I feel bad like casting aspersions on Katie already, but I don't really understand why she knows all this stuff.
She's at school to like. I mean, she got into the school.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just asking. I'm not. I
Wow.
didn't say anything. I'm just asking. Go on.
She tells me essentially like you can't run away from yourself. And also I'm here and I'm amazing, so you really can't
Oh, she's evil.
leave.
Yeah.
Oh
likes herself.
no.
No, at a school
God
full of
forbid a girl have confidence.
a school full of
No.
trauma and a
Confident
girl has
woman?
confidence.
Devil.
Nope.
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 And I'm joking with her, like I'll take that under advisement. And that's when we find Quintin and Alice, or y'all find us. And then Sutherland finds us,
Yes.
and she
She's
found
like the vice dean or whoever
Who
it
was
is.
also
school,
leading the
school
investigation?
executive person. Yes,
Yeah.
leading the investigation.
a.
Maybe she's a cop. I don't know. I never got a title from her.
I mean, Dean Cop.
Dean cop.
Dean Cop.
Dean Cop. You know, she found a book buried in the woods, which is always a bad sign in a magical school.
Is that the same book you found?
No.
though? Okay.
So she found it. So Dean Cop found a book buried in the woods.
She found the book that I think Alice and I were like, we need to hide the evidence, and then did a bad.
Immediately
Like
found
literally,
it.
my next scene is like, here's the book you hid, fuckos.
Unbelievable. Wait, then what book did Penny find?
Penny? You mean Katie?
Well,
No,
you
but
guys
your
were-
name's Penny.
Oh, Penny.
Yeah, you guys
Sorry,
were both
I guess
there.
you didn't. You weren't the one who led the charge, but
Yeah.
your
We
character.
found another book. Listen, I don't like any of these books.
Did the
All of
book-
them are bad.
Did the book
I've
look
never
like
been
this book?
so anti-book in my life.
you
we
see-
gotta burn all these books.
You see Cop Dean with
Yeah.
the book. Is it the same book?
No,
Okay, so there are
We got two books.
discrete books.
we got two. I got book, Crystal,
We're
Flirty
so,
Girls, probably the devil.
We're so cooked. There's no way we're gonna keep the show straight.
No, we
Listen,
got this. We got this.
It's me,
I'm-
Katie. We got a beer. We got old tech. We got crystal alloy. We got different book,
Yeah.
mysterious book, and possibly devil girl.
I'm gonna say right now, this is more fun than seeing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
For me at least, I feel like this is a little like mystery. It's a puzzle, and
Yeah,
like
it's
trying
fun.
to piece together like what do we know? What do we like? What are we supposed to know and we don't?
Good catch on Alice being not trained much earlier than
Yeah.
her brother disappearing.
Yeah, it's
that was
important.
really important.
It feels like I'm given two pieces to a board game and not told the rules, and then just go. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess this
like-
hippo.
It's like being drunk and your friends are trying to teach you a complicated 3-hour board game. And you're like, I'm just
Okay.
going to try and not get called a cheater.
So the hippo
Is
buys
hungry.
property,
He's hungry.
The
and then he
hippo's
rents
hungry.
out.
Hippo's
Okay, no,
hungry.
they gave me like a house and a hippo.
Okay.
Everybody
my card
at
turn?
home, take your favorite TV show. No, sorry, take a TV show you've never watched before. Start watching it, and then like every 5 minutes, just skip 10 minutes in the
Walk away,
timeline.
make a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
then come back.
See how
It'd be
much
fun.
fun it is.
Yeah.
Have a great
Anyway.
time.
Gaslight yourself.
Or you could just go watch our characters' scenes because James posts all of our character cuts.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah, fair enough.
My next scene is I'm being questioned.
yes.
Okay, should I just do
I
all my
think that's all of
questioning?
us, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Not
it's-
me, but everyone else.
I assume it's the
It's
basics.
the four of us.
Right?
So all four of us are being questioned, and so there's like a lobby area that three of us are sitting, and then it's like kind of cutting back and forth. So the implication is like we're all kind of being questioned one at a time,
Which is
in
the
this
right way to
office.
do it.
Correct.
And so during my questioning, she asked me a bunch of questions. I basically give non-answers to everything.
Okay.
Appropriate. How about you? Do you spill the beans?
Uh-huh.
Unbelievable.
Oh, you could tell. Mike immediately goes in there and
I
sings
can't believe
Canary.
you. I cannot believe you. That's just like what kind of like oh, we're supposed to see the cool kid? What is this?
I haven't said a word.
Because I can tell.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to know
Wow.
what? Because if you
We're
had it,
already assigning guilt. This is the judicial system in this
I'm
country.
pointing at the camera. If I was wronging him right now, he would have interrupted me 5 minutes ago. He has not. Therefore, I know I'm right.
Hey, Narc. You want to finish your scene, bud?
Interior. Interview room. No, so she's questioning me, and she's like, hey, I'm trying to make sense of this, okay? There's residue all over this book, including a summoning we believed that opened the door to the beast. So you tell me what's going on.
Summoning residue.
And then there's a time jump. And she's like, look, I know they're your friends, and that makes me laugh. And she says, at this point, I have to assume it was all of you. And I say it wasn't. Shut up, and I'll tell you happily. And then I come out, and I say, it's fine, and you're welcome. I blow you a kiss.
Yeah, blow me a kiss.
Who? Quentin?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I walk off.
Oh, did you take all the guilt so you get expelled?
Opposite of that one.
Oh, never mind. It's all of them but me.
No.
Wow.
It's just me.
Yep.
Just blames Quentin.
Just blames Quentin.
Interesting.
Which
Baby narc. Not a full narc.
That's
here's
baby narc.
here's
Worse.
the only good reading of this that I have. I mean, one, I guess there's like you know it's either everybody gets expelled or the one guy you don't like. So that's one version of this. The other one I'm trying to work through is you can see the future.
A little bit. It seems
I
like.
think I can. I can be talked to. Like I can't. I don't think I can actively look, but I can hear things.
So everybody is telling me to get off the garden path. Is this your version of that?
Except for Margot. Tells you to stay on the garden path.
Yeah.
Devil, once again, female character in this show. Devil.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both
Wow.
of the competent women are obviously evil.
Canceled.
No,
Canceled. He's canceled.
no wait. I didn't come out. I think I was explaining Katie, and you were questioning Katie, and I'm like, oh no, she did go mysteriously grab stuff. Did anyone else see Katie but me?
Very easy to mislead, Mike.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The only weird thing at the end of the scene is like everybody kind of is like leaving, and I'm being called. Like, you know, she's like, "Oh, Alice, you can go." Like the two of you leave. You know, everybody leaves except for me, and like the camera like does like a dolly zoom onto Quentin, and he says out loud, "There's nothing I can do in this moment to stop the comet from crashing into the Earth, is there?" And then the scene ends. I'm like, "What the hell did you just say, and why?"
That
Huh.
seems like a cut from another scene.
But he says it out loud to Detective Cop or Detective Dean, Cop Dean. What are we calling
Dean?
her?
I don't know.
I like
Sutherland?
Detective Cop, but it's their actual name, and it's like KAUP.
And they're a doctor.
yeah,
Dr. Professor Detective
Detective
Cop.
Dr. Cop.
But I think Sutherland.
Cop Dean, got it.
Cop Dean. Cop
Wait,
Dean.
KAUP Dean?
No.
Cop Dean?
All right, keep going.
Dean
Okay.
Cop.
Dean Cop. Cop
Dean
Dean.
Cop.
Professor
And that's the
Dr.
end of
Dean
that
Cop.
scene. And my next scene,
Sounds
I
like
run
a
into
Venture
Elliot.
Brothers character, Professor
Cop?
Dr. Cop Dean. Anyway, my next scene's with Quentin carrying all the
Yeah.
books in the quad.
What do you got? Anybody else have anything?
The end.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, I have just a stack of books in my hand, walking through the quad.
And
Nerd.
you look terrified.
I'm like, I think they're library books that I'm returning because I'm getting expelled, but I haven't been expelled
you
yet.
just assuming you're getting expelled.
It
It seems like you had that conversation and you realize that all the blame was placed on you.
Yep.
You say that they're bringing in a specialist.
Yes, because apparently the guy who can wipe minds got his eyes plucked out and maybe died, so they're bringing in a specialist to do it.
Yeah.
And like
Ominous.
Yeah.
And Elliot, whenever you bring up the specialist, Elliot goes from like, hey, everything's going to be chill, and you mentioned they're bringing in a specialist, and Elliot's like,
yeah, it's very like Zuko. It's like, that's rough, buddy.
yeah, sorry,
Don't
man.
laugh, Mike.
Yeah, you don't know. You never watched Avatar.
I think
or
I know the character. No,
Futurama.
I think I know the character.
Shameless
Zuko.
man.
Get outta
Shameless
here.
man.
Boo hiss.
Boo hiss. Hiss boo.
And
Bunch
his.
of Dean cops over here.
So yeah, you're freaking out because you can't imagine going back to your non-magical existence.
Yep.
And
You have a solution?
I say, well, you ask me, I'm like trying to help, and you ask me, why are you helping me? And I say, listen, I bond fast. Time's an illusion. Look, don't go out there and be the old you. And meaning, like, if you get kicked out, they're going to wipe your mind. But when you go back out into the world,
All this advice I will clearly remember once
Yes.
my mind gets wiped.
I think he's just trying to lighten the mood a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm like, when you go out there, don't be the old you. How about this? After you get expelled and your mind gets wiped, I'm going to come find you. And I'm not going to tell you that magic is real. But what I am going to do is I'm going to seduce you. And I'm going to so lift your spirits
love
that your
this
life remains a sparkle for decades. And Quentin's like,
Yeah, that sounds nice. Thank you.
yeah, thanks, man.
I love Elliot.
Honestly, great plan.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. But after I try and lift your mood, obviously it doesn't help a ton. Kind of breaks the ice a little bit. And you're like, is there any way to not get my mind wiped? And Elliot just says, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I back down to earth though. Like, real talk, you're in some pretty deep shit.
There's
Doesn't
one minor thing we
Katie-
left out from their previous scene, Elliot and I, was that you're like, oh, there's a spell that you can cast
Oh,
to
yeah.
prevent people from reading your mind,
Not wiping it.
but not wiping it. So like, he teaches me that spell to prevent people from reading my mind. So like, you do know spells for stuff like this, but
I
this
wonder
one
if that's
is not.
the comet. That weird offhand thing is you're saying a spell to keep people from reading your mind. It was a bunch of strings of weird
I don't know.
words.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know. Anyway.
Maybe. And then this is when the payphone I talked about comes up. I called Julia. She doesn't answer, and it's like cutting to black. So I mean, this kind of
Yeah.
probably shouldn't say this. This is a little fourth wall breaky, but like clearly, like she's doing something, and while this voicemail is going, that she can't answer the phone.
Or she did.
But I'm leaving this message, and I'm like, basically, be like, I didn't know what it must have been like to like, learn that this exists and then not make it and whatever. And I'm telling her that I got expelled, but I'm like, if you remember or figured out why you were able to like keep your memories, now's a good time to let me know, because like the same thing's about to happen to me. Like, because she remembers that magic
Right.
exists
Right.
now, and she didn't hint that she knew why.
Hey, sorry, I was a giant asshole about your latent magical abilities last time, but now it affects me. Can you please tell me your secrets?
Yeah.
Cool.
But here's the problem: is that like the voicemail machine is like, oh, to like send this message, press 1. To delete the message, press 2, and boop, message deleted.
Okay.
So I don't actually leave this voicemail, I guess.
Okay. Probably because you feel weird about it for the same reasons we called you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I take 3 steps and give Penny a shove.
Yeah, you call me out and shove me.
Yep.
I call you a little piece of shit.
Yeah, which is probably true.
Push you back. And then before you can push me again, I just punch him. Just deck him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
ground
him.
I was curious if we were just gonna posture, if we were actually
No.
gonna get in a fight.
Solid punch to the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hits the ground.
Yep.
You say that I ratted you out, but I said that I told the truth.
And I say, not all of it.
And
And then I get up, and I remember, who was it that ran in and cast the spell at Mothman?
no, Katie.
Katie. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's implying that I have like Taskmaster-esque, like I can
Photographic
see
casting.
one thing happen once and recreate it perfectly. So I cast that same like force push spell at Penny, and it just bounces off
Yeah.
of him.
I turn
like
around
I'm rubber,
and I-
you're glue type shit.
And I'm like bracing myself for it, and it just completely goes back.
Oh, it's the pendant Katie gave you.
Yes.
Yeah.
She can see the future, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I get launched like 30 feet in the air, and there's like the camera cuts like 3 times to me just like against a blue sky background, just flying around,
That's
and then I
really
just
funny.
like land and break my arm on the ground, and we're in the infirmary.
Okay. I was going to say, there better be some damage there.
Dean Cop walks up and is like, "Oh, who started it?" And
Well, I go up to check on you. I'm like, what the hell was that, you maniac? Because he's casting like spells at me. Sunderland magically shows up.
This is battle magic. I'm told later.
Yeah. And she sends us both to the infirmary.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll just run through that. Then, like, I'm getting my arm magically healed. Person's like, "Oh, this, might burn a little," and then like puts her magic hand powder or whatever on my arm, and I just like scream, and the arm's clearly healed.
I laugh at you.
And you pull the little crystal out of your pocket.
Yep. And I'm like, yeah, we call it battle magic. And I'm like, Hurt of Karma will sometimes instantaneous. And that's when I show the necklace that Katie got me. So she is trying to keep me safe.
Sure.
And you want me out, and I laugh.
Yep. That's the end of the scene.
Yeah. And that's the end of my episode.
I have one more scene.
Yep. Is that when you come to the cottage of physical?
I have two more
alterations?
scenes.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
That's the worst bed and breakfast name I've ever heard.
Forget all the names. I need to add it to my fun list.
It's the physical kids cottage. That's what he
Physical
said.
kids cottage.
Physical kids cottage.
Most kids are physical,
I don't
so
think
it's
that's
weird.
the
My
actual
brain.
name of this
A bunch
cottage.
of kids can make any cottage physical.
Physical
I
kids
feel like
cottage.
he's just describing the kids that live there. Like
Yeah.
it's just basically like X dorm or whatever.
Yeah, fair
Anyway,
enough.
go ahead.
I guess it's technically 3 scenes because one of them is just a quick shot of me stealing the charm while you sleep.
That's hilarious.
Very good.
You piece of shit.
Nah.
No, that's perfect
you
for the
deserve
memory.
This.
Yeah, you do deserve
You
this.
deserved this.
I got assaulted.
You started it?
Did punch him in the face.
No, he
That's
shoved me
self-defense.
first. He shoved me.
Punching is different than shoving.
I do love the idea that I
Punching is
still
You
have.
didn't even fall. What kind of
It
shove
didn't
was
even
it?
fall, bro.
I'm just saying.
It's not my fault. It was a bad shove on his part.
I still have access to this dorm room with the guy that I got in a public fight with, and
This is bad schooling.
Well, I mean, the school
gotta
also
talk to
took away
Dean
your
Cop.
medication and then didn't separate two kids who got into a physical altercation. So I'm not really trusting.
I want to see
Also,
their
apparently
their-
kids die all the time.
Yeah.
I want
Not
to see their
surprising.
code of conduct.
Yeah. It's been in that dusty ass drawer you found in the basement.
Anyways, I'm going into this office. I think it's like it might be the same Dean Cop office from earlier, but she's not there. The specialist is there. Sorry, specialist isn't there. The paramedic from last episode is there, who I later find out is the specialist. She
okay.
as I
Knew it.
walk
Lots of
in,
hats.
she's like looking in, like she's like snooping at this office, and this might have been the drawer with the book.
Oh.
Like she's
you
like
not-
looking in the desk drawer.
Was it like an office? Because you gave me the impression it was
didn't
like
feel like an office.
Okay.
It felt like a common room.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway,
It was
she's
like
like,
a foosball table.
okay.
sure. She's like snooping through this desk,
okay,
There-
fair
many
enough.
books.
and
Just snooping.
but like I don't make anything of it. I don't even pick up that she's doing it, and like yeah. So she's the paramedic. Turns out she's the specialist who's gonna wipe my memory. I ask her why she gave me the book, and I'm like, well, I lost it, and like I need to read it. And she's like, oh, things with Fillory are funny that way. And I'm like what? Like, is Fillory real? And she's like, why are you asking if you're just gonna forget it again?
Because I still want to know. Feels good in the moment.
Yeah.
Dopamine.
Or because I have a secret plan to wipe her memory instead of mine.
Yeah, you have
Yep.
the I'm rubber, you're glue amulet.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm sure that works in all situations.
I'm about to find out.
We are about to find out. So I sit down. I'm like, okay, do it. And then
Palpatine.
she's like, okay, like she's like, I'm pleased. You're a much better liar than I expected you to be. I'm like, what?
What are you talking about?
And
I'm
then
not even lying.
she like, I guess that's a compliment. I don't know. But then she starts negging me, and she's like, you're like legitimately. She's like, you're not very remarkable.
Well,
She's like, you're so eager to belong that you forget you're here. But like, you're smart but not a genius. You know, like you're like whatever. She's basically like, yeah, you're just like an average guy. Like, there's nothing special about
and then
you.
wipes your mind, just really breaks you down. And
Do
then
they not
zaps your
teach
brain.
paramedics like bedside manner?
Okay, so what?
She's not a paramedic.
She was a fake paramedic.
No,
She's a specialist.
you don't know.
She's a fixer. She's the coyote.
She knows that I dream of Fillory.
What is going on?
Nobody
in
knows.
This show?
I'm being told words, and I assume some of them make sense.
And she has also dreamed of it too,
Oh.
and looked into the beast's eyes.
Don't look
Assuming
in
this
those
is
eyes.
Mothman. And she asks if I believe in destiny, and I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, yeah, I used to believe that crap too.
Does she suck or
She
is she
just
great?
pulled out a cigarette.
This is the same person where like there's a dead body who's like, oh, he drank a lot.
Glug glug.
Oh god!
Like she's just like,
Is she like an SNL character that wandered on set?
I kind of love her. I don't know. She's all over the place.
That's God.
Yeah.
Like that's God hanging out in plain sight. I'm just like.
She kind of sounds
you
like
suck.
I imagine this is what it's like if you're trying to make a serious TV show about the magicians. You have this exact same plot line, but then this character, you bring in Amy Poehler, you give her a
Yep.
one pager and tell her to improvise.
Have fun.
It's kind of the vibe that
Script just says have fun.
I just have fun with it. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here.
And she's talking about destiny very briefly. She's like, oh, there's no reason it should be up to you. You can either step up to it or not. And then she just talks about herself. She's like, I'm just another inadequate magician who's lost people, and so will you if you don't get strong. So I'm like, why is she being like, oh, you need to get strong?
Anakin.
And then she's like,
She is Palpatine.
she pulls the gem. At some point, she like pickpocketed me or whatever. And so now she has the gem, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But nobody's taking my mind today, she says, because we'll make something of you yet.
Oh, that's Palpatine.
So she's
Yeah.
giving me one more chance. She's like, oh, we'll have you go on probation or something. They'll listen to me. So apparently she has some like sway over this stuff. I don't know
would
why.
Would you not listen to the person that wipes minds?
Would
I
I
mean,
not listen to the person who wipes?
Wouldn't
Maybe,
you like?
maybe she just wipes your mind until she gets you to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So
over.
let's try that
Redo?
again.
This is
Redo?
scene 7.
Refresh.
Do you like
Refresh?
come in clean shaven and leave with 5 o'clock shadow, being like, I got exactly what I wanted out of that?
She's just entering sweepstakes and just clearing cookies and cash to just keep doing it over and over again.
And then here's our little like follow the white rabbit moment again, which is she says, don't hop back on the path like some little lemming. Everything's connected. Don't overthink it. And that's the end of that scene.
See, the fact that this girl's named Alice, and we're talking about chasing white rabbits.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she like Jane from Fillory? Is it her?
No, she
Do they
does
look
not look
similar
like.
at all? Okay.
No, she does not look similar to that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, okay. Your final scene is we're in the backyard.
Yeah.
We're barbecuing.
Coming over to the physical kids' cottage.
And we see you.
Supposed
You're
to the ethereal
soaking
kids'
wet.
cottage.
Any particular reason for that?
I'm soaking wet?
Yeah, you look wet.
I think you're
Like,
just sweaty.
You're moist.
I think
Really
it's-
sweaty.
I think it's just a greasy.
I like.
I
Swear
didn't notice.
Are you a
I didn't
greasy
notice
little
he was
freak?
wet either.
I swear to God, I was like, he looks damp.
I think he's
I
just.
thought you were in a pool or something.
No, I think he's just chilling. I think that's
wrote-
that's
He's just a
me.
nervous guy.
I wrote Quintin is soaked, actually. So-
Maybe he just moisturizes.
Were you crying while you were watching this? Was it
you-
just perception?
Did you mean to type yoked and then went to soaked?
No.
Okay.
Quentin is yoked.
Well,
He does come around
I
shirtless.
think you did something weird with your hair or something. Like
Yeah.
you must have because
He
it
got
really
His
looks
hair,
different.
can I say, not good.
No,
Oh, I like it.
it really.
He's got
he
big
does
dork
have-
energy.
He does have like kind of greasy, moppy hair.
It's
Maybe
so
that's what
like
it is.
early 2000s hair,
Yeah.
I guess.
which this show isn't from.
I think it's raining. It's raining. That's
Is it?
why you're wet.
grilling.
Because I'm holding an umbrella.
You're
Are
grilling
you?
in the
yes.
rain?
Margot.
I'm not.
Listen, I grill in the rain. but,
Elliot
like,
doesn't have an umbrella.
I have
and
an
I'm
umbrella. I have an umbrella.
And
You
you're
have an
not-
umbrella.
No,
I
it's
have an umbrella.
clearly
That's got-
sunny out. Do we get different versions of this?
No,
scene?
I know.
I think your
it is.
umbrella is just for shade. I
well-
think it's just you're protecting your skin.
I don't know. In any case,
Anyway.
you look wet. I'm holding an umbrella. You make the connection, listeners. In any case, I say, come on, join the party.
We're grilling. Usually a
not
grill.
pouring.
I'm wearing
Rain.
I'm wearing like a white linen shirt and drinking a beer, listening to music in the sun. It's not raining.
No,
Okay.
you're
I
just
mean-
damp.
I mean, listeners,
Anybody at the
guess draw your-
beach is currently in the rain because they have umbrellas.
Anyway, I say, we're so drunk. That's my last
yeah,
thing I say.
way over.
Are
sense.
you sure you weren't drunk when you watched this? Because
I
that
don't-
might explain the
I didn't
rain.
write down
conundrum.
Margot saying we're so drunk. I think Stasha might
No,
have been.
that is actually in the cut
blasted.
100%.
I like that we had
Check
a
the
longer
tape.
I
discussion
plead the
about
fifth
whether
on
or
that
not he's damp than you had actual lines.
Yeah,
That's true.
but yeah, we welcome Quentin over to the house
Dry Quintin walks up.
dry, dusty Quintin, sandworm Quintin, fucking Muad'Dib Quintin. But you walk over and Elliot says, "We have all day."
And I'm carrying like a suitcase in another bag.
Like
so
you're
I'm
gonna
like
move
moving
in
I
here.
guess.
So I guess you're the physical kids cottage
Sure.
employee.
That's a terrible name.
It
by the
is
way.
bad. I didn't
like come
make
up with
it.
something like clever. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What do we want to make it? We can do whatever we want.
Think about it.
Pushovers.
The put. Oof. Ouch. Ouch. This seems to be my whole deal here. So
Is that the end of
That
the
hurts.
Oh
episode?
God.
I think that's
Okay.
it.
I don't have wrap-ups, but I think we should come together at the end of these episodes and try to piece together what's happening. I
Listen.
feel like this is actually
Yeah.
better
Alice?
dedicated to this time.
White Rabbit. That's a connection.
There's a connection there.
I am. I was not suspicious of any of the women in this show, and then the woman to my right has made me suspicious of every woman in this show, except the paramedic.
I mean,
She's the most suspicious.
I don't know.
She's the only
She's
one that
hiding
I
in
am
plain sight.
actively
She is.
suspecting.
I think that would be hiding in plain sight. I think they want you to suspect.
No, because she
the
clearly
paramedic
has.
smoking cigarettes.
She's like
saying
an
you
outside.
suck.
She's an outside contractor, is how
No.
they set her up. But then she can all of a sudden be like, "Oh, I'll just tell him to give you probation." Like, she clearly has some
She's
power and
true
influence
sus.
here. She
She's
has.
true sus to not
She
be sus.
knows that I dream of Fillory. She has dreamt it too. She knows about the garden path thing. Like, what are you talking about?
Mark my words.
The other women were
I-
just generally confident.
I'm going to mark
I
your
do
words so I
like-
can hold them over your head.
I do like
later.
how I just described a confident woman and then just whispers of like, and I'm like, is she evil?
I just had questions
What if I
about how
told
she
you?
knew all this
What if
stuff.
I told you that she was confident? Would that change your opinion of her?
She seemed confident.
I mean,
That makes her more suspicious.
That's
To
what
I
I'm
him.
think
saying.
she's not suspicious.
Oh, well,
that's the whole point.
I don't think she,
As far as where
He just likes her. I
My-
think that's just what
yeah,
it boils
I like
down
her
to.
vibe. I like her vibe.
Mike just thinks she's
Okay, let me
cute.
put it this way.
I have no idea who this person is, but I
What-
like her vibe.
When you say not suspicious, are you just specifically talking about like forces of evil?
Yeah, like I feel like if she's a big bad or connected to the big bad.
Oh, I don't think that.
I think it would be so like you're not hiding your cards.
Yeah.
If you make this mysterious woman who is letting you stay in the school be secretly in cahoots with a bad guy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely.
Like that is, if you're trying to be mysterious, which I think this show wants to do, I think you're advertising the twist, and by pointing to it.
Yeah, she's like setting up like the witch's cottage. in the
she's more
forest,
likely
and
to
it's
be like
yeah, obviously.
in
The
my
most
in my
powerful
head.
thing.
In my
Yeah.
head, she's more likely to be like a Morpheus, a stick, a
100%.
Master Splinter
She's a
type
secret
of like
good guy.
mentor
Yeah.
figure who like knows some of what I need to do.
Yes.
So
And
we
I
have-
wasn't suspicious of Katie until someone said that she is trying to keep me there.
She's trying to keep you there. She also knew that you would need the charm, which
She's
is
also confident.
plausible
Apparently,
Yeah.
deniability. But I just am confused why she knew the charm was there. Why
But-
she know
but
what
she's-
book that is.
But she's probably then I'm less likely to believe that she's sus because when I kind of alluded to me hearing the beast, she was shocked by that. She's like, did you hear the beast? And I'm like, no, I got played.
Here's one thing I will point out. I feel like all of us right now are having a little bit of, and mostly because we've done this podcast for forever now. What we say, 9 years or something.
Mhm.
I think we're starting to have like a little bit of main character energy. I had 20 minutes. I had 40 something
I had
last
9.
week, right? This doesn't add up to be the full episode. She might have had more scenes
Yeah.
than you did, right?
And she blasted Beast back into the
Yeah.
mirror.
Obviously powerful. I think regardless of like who's sus and who's not, I don't think that's the important stuff that we get out of this episode.
yeah.
Like that's maybe like far-reaching, fun conversation topics. But what we get out of this episode is that there is like Quintin gets to stay in school because there are powerful people who know things that Quintin does not, and Quintin seems to be. We're talking about main character energy. There's a
Yeah.
reason you need to be here, and people know it, and you do not know it.
Right.
I will also say, like, I get what they're going for here. I don't think Quentin has main character energy.
Yeah, but you need
That might be
you're-
part of the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're part of whatever future they're trying to manufacture.
You're the everyman stand-in for the audience.
Yeah,
Brian.
exactly.
Dork.
And then there is the is it Alice? The gal whose brother we think might be
Alice.
Alice, yeah.
Yep.
And so like I think that's the most important stuff. This feels like the things that we actively know is the Alice stuff.
Yeah.
Where
And she doesn't know what's been hidden from her.
Right.
And her parents tried really hard to prevent her from going to school, but upon entering the school, they, probably because it's grad school, had no control over what was happening, but
Yeah,
the
for
school didn't reject her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something to keep in mind.
She's doing
So-
the best intentions lead to really awful consequences.
Right.
But I just want to say the school's goals and her parents' goals clearly don't align,
Yeah.
which I think is important. I don't
Yeah.
know why, though. Or maybe the school has to. I don't know.
No, I don't
Maybe-
think they're required to like accept a good student. What do
Would you
mean?
rather like have someone who has innate abilities just like wilding out at home, monitored and unguarded?
Well, that's kind of the confusing part, right? That's what makes this show a little bit weird because they've tried to age up everybody into like graduate school.
I do
It's
like that choice.
It's good from my perspective because it changes the tone, what the tone of the show can be.
Yeah.
But also it is kind of confusing because you're like, wait, so you've just been letting these people run around for 20 something years with magic powers that they can't control and like can kill people? Why would you do that?
Right.
Like legitimately,
Yeah.
like why would that be the way you taught
And-
people?
One thing that I guess I don't know off of that. So Elliot was telling the story about being a kid and killing the other kid by sort of manipulating reality into a way where the bus hits him and kills him instantly. I don't know what his life looked like after that. I'm wondering if at different ages this school brings people under its care or if it's just graduate school. I don't know. Something this is just to keep an eye out. Does a world of magical is there a magical support system that exists pre-graduate
for
school
14-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, like is there a separate like middle school, high school, early college, graduate school? Is there some sort of like social support system where it's like a kid magically kills another kid and they pull them out of like the juvenile detention circuit and put them into some like magical sort of system where they can kind of help them develop their powers?
Then why didn't Quintin get a letter much earlier then?
Well, because he wasn't like maybe calling.
He never demonstrated that like he had.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
saying only if like you do something major do they pull
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
out?
calling back to the
or
your
your parents are magic.
Right.
Like if you're born into that world and you know it exists from when you're a child,
Right.
like what do they do with those kids?
Do they test them earlier? I'm trying to think of like again if we're making parallels to like X-Men,
Yeah.
like there
Star
are
Wars,
mutants,
X-Men,
Yeah.
Harry Potter, like any of these
there are
things have
mutants that show up late in life, but there are some who identify at a really early age, and they all need some form of like support structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
don't know.
X-Men's a little different because like it's very tied to puberty. But yeah, you're not. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some. That
So
are
is this
at
kind
birth,
of.
but
Right, so-
puberty at 27.
No,
Like-
because Elliot at 14 like pushed a kid in front of a bus.
yeah, but I'm saying that like the right now all we've seen in terms of like schooling to moderate that is like I think Colin's right. We should keep an eye out,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I
it's
think
confusing.
what this world is trying to do is not that puberty unlocks latent abilities, or not that you are born. Maybe you're born with an inherent like magical predisposition, but it seems to be, if we are believing Elliot at face value,
Yeah, about
that
the pain.
trauma
Yep.
unlocks your magical ability.
Mhm.
It's not puberty, it's not birth, it's not blood. Maybe it's like there's an underlying like magical ability to a bunch of people, but folks that experience major trauma are then able to harness it. Where like Quentin's first big magical act was while he was being chewed out by a stranger in a room and he was really uncomfortable, and it came after he was accepted into like a mental health facility at a hospital.
Yeah.
And like Elliot's came about after like he was beat up by a bully and wanted that kid to die. Like it seems
I
like
mean,
there's-
it's a good in-canon explanation as to why there will never be like a straight rich white kid at the school.
yeah, because it's never going to be sad enough or experience any trauma enough, or like why there might not be like 6, 7, 8-year-olds. Not to say that 6, 7, 8-year-olds can't have trauma, but the likelihood
That they understand it and can
right
like, do
Yeah.
something.
and like
yeah.
are using like it to try and hurt people or
Yeah.
like manufacture a new reality
We'll see.
for themselves is maybe lower. I don't know.
that might be you taking Elliot a little too literally.
Maybe, but that's the only information we have
I'm
about
starting
it.
to take it more literally than I thought.
Okay.
Like I think there is some truth there, and I mean I know we're going long, but the big question left in my head, one of the big questions left in my head, why are you two on this couch? Right? Why do we not have an Alice? Why do we not have a Julia? Like
We
you
got-
two seem like minor side characters at this point, and that's clearly not true, or else James would have picked somebody else.
Yeah, must have
Penny's got a part to play.
episodes coming up. I guess,
yeah,
is what
I
I'm
assume.
I mean, I'm getting voice duped and like tricked.
I mean, or it could be that you're here again, like some of the other, there is a separate sect within the school that has nefarious or alternative whatever intent, and we're not getting those characters because they're having their own scenes where they are conniving, and we are trying to figure it out in our podcast format.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, stay tuned for next week,
Nailed it.
and we'll learn 2% more.
We'll do that till the show's done, and we know 67 to 72%.
And then we'll
pretty
rewatch
high.
it one episode a month until we die.
And I'll know the whole story when I'm 83. I'm your host, Mike, signing off. Left me as always.
It's Stasha.
In front of me as always.
It's Colin.
And right here, right now.
It's Brian.
We'll see you next time.
Bye forever.
For more information, go to popculturerollcall.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Our new theme provided by Stephen Rosbach. Find him at StephenRosbach.com for more of his work. Join us next week for another episode of Pop Culture Roll Call.